South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Hi, I'm Kurt Angle. I represented the United States in the Olympics in 1996 and won a gold medal. Then I parlayed that into a pro wrestling career. I saw a commercial a few years ago.
Tunnel to Towers Foundation made a promise.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is paying off the mortgages for Gold Star families with young children. I thought, this is really cool. I want to be a part of it. My dad served in the Army for 30 years. We didn't have a lot of money, but he made sure we had what we needed. He set a great example for all of us. But he died in a construction accident my freshman year in high school. When he died, we didn't have any income coming in, and we ended up being forced to move out of our house. I was devastated. So I understand what these families are going through, and to have an organization like Tunnel to Towers come in and pick you up and carry you and give you a home to live in, I think that's just amazing. I'd like to ask you to donate $11 a month to support these efforts by going to t2t.org or calling 1-844-BRAVEST.
The following is a Race Day Las Vegas presentation in association with Siraco Productions Limited on the Race Day Las Vegas Radio Network.
Live from the gaming capital of the world, time for Race Day Las Vegas, covering the sport of kings with a Las Vegas perspective. Now to the race desk with your host, Ralph Siraco.
From the backstretch to the turf club, at the racebooks and on the internet, to all horse players around the world, a good morning. Alrighty. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program for this Wednesday as we ramp up another week covering the great sport of kings, Las Vegas style, right here from Las Vegas, your gaming capital. At the South Point Studios streaming network at YouTube at the South Point Hotel Casino Complex on Las Vegas Boulevard in Las Vegas. We welcome you to the show. Welcome all of you listening on our anchor radio station here in town, Sports Talk 1400 AM, 107.1 FM, and of course all of our websites, you know they are, and the apps that you can get for your devices, and the podcasting, however, wherever, whenever. Welcome to the Race Day Show for this Wednesday. It is now the first day of October. We have flipped the page from September to October. We are now waiting no more months. Now it's just on to weeks and days and then hours. 29 days 9 hours, 56 minutes, and 9 seconds and counting until the Breeders' Cup 2-day championship starts at Del Mar this year. And by the time we get to the end of this month, the first day of the 2-day Breeders' Cup will already be in the books. October 31st, Halloween Day, is going to be the first day of the 2-day Breeders' Cup, highlighting the stars of the future, all the 2-year-old races for 2-year-olds on that day for Breeders' Cup. And then, of course, the next day will be the championship for all of the individual divisions as well. And we're going to have a party here. We're going to start it out on Thursday, the 30th of October, Thursday at 3 p.m. right here where you're watching us now, and only right here where you're watching us now on the YouTube streaming network, the South Point streaming network at YouTube. We're going to have our special Race Day Las Vegas Breeders' Cup special featuring our handicappers. Jonathan Hardoon will be here. John Lenda will be here, and we'll have a host of other handicappers as well, taking a look at the Breeders' Cup for this year. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be one of the Breeders' Cup events that you'll remember. And then, of course, that's at 3 p.m. Pacific time and only on the streaming network here, only at the South Point streaming network. It's the only place you can get it. All of our other platforms that we use for our regular daily programs will not be in effect for that show. It'll be just on the streaming network. And then, of course, on Friday, we'll have our show in the morning. And then, of course, the first day, as I say, of the Breeders' Cup, the Stars of the Future. At the end of that program on Friday, Halloween Day, the 31st, at 6 p.m. in the Grandview Lounge here at the South Point, adjacent to the race book, we'll have our annual Breeders' Cup seminar. We'll take a look at what happened on the first day of Breeders' Cup with all the 2-year-olds, and then look ahead to the big Saturday racing card there with, again, Jonathan Hardoon and John Lenda, a live seminar here in the Grandview Ballroom. It is a lounge. What, did I say Grandview Ballroom? I meant to say Grandview Lounge. We'll talk about the ballroom in a minute. It's at the Grandview Lounge, which is adjacent to the racebook, in the Grandview Lounge. And it's a lounge that, of course, has live music and entertainment in the evenings, but we're going to take it over on that Friday. So it has the that atmosphere, you know, the cocktail tables, and you can sit down and relax, and just we'll have a question and answer session as well. And that is live and free. And that'll happen right after the Santa Anita, the Del Mar races, I should say, are completed. All right? And the big ballroom, by the way, the grand ballroom will be open on Friday for those folks who want to go up there and watch the first day of the Breeders' Cup Championship. But then the second day, that Saturday, the first day of November, will be up in the big Grandview, in the big ballroom upstairs. I keep confusing that. In the big ballroom here at the South Point. The big room up there with the big screen TVs and the big banquet tables. You can take 5, 6, I think it sits 12 people of these big banquet tables. Spread out all of your handicapping paraphernalia. You'll have room to bring, to have your beverages and your food. We'll have special food and beverage prices, discount low prices, not like the Strip, but it'll be you'll be able to eat and drink and enjoy yourself and play the races. You'll have plenty of money to play your races because we're not going to be gouging. Everything else except the food and drinks and the betting is free. Everything we'll talk about is free, including parking your car. Now, the big ballroom, of course, will have a bank of betting windows, live betting windows. It'll also have betting kiosks. There'll be prize giveaways on Saturday for the big day there. And we'll have a table there, myself and the handicappers. We'd love to have you be here with us and come up and introduce yourself. We know you're out there, so come on down and introduce yourself. We'd love to see you, as we often do. As I said, last week I ran into a chatter that was here at the South Point. He flew in and decided to spend time here at the South Point, and he told me that he was very happy with all the stuff here, and you will be too. So if you're not going to be at Del Mar proper for the Breeders' Cup, the next best thing is going to be here at the South Point. And as I said, everything I just talked about is free, except for, of course, the money you bet, and the food and drinks in the ballroom will be discount food and drinks. It'll be really good. All right, all of that happens there. So now with the 29 days and counting until the Breeders' Cup coming up this weekend, and it will start on Friday when Keeneland opens. Keeneland is opening on Friday, but it'll start on Friday. We have 15 Breeders' Cup win and you're in races left to go. All 15 of them will happen between Friday and Sunday. Here's how it's going to go. Friday, Belmont at Aqueduct will have 3 races. 2 of them will be Breeders' Cup win and you're in races. At Keeneland, there will be 3 stakes races, and all 3 of them will be Breeders' Cup win and you're in races. On Saturday, there will be 8 Breeders' Cup win and you're in races. 5 will be on Friday, 8 will be on Saturday. They get split up like this. Belmont at Aqueduct, 5 stakes races. 2 of them will be Breeders' Cup win and you're ins. Keeneland will have 5 stakes races, and 2 of them will be Breeders' Cup win and you're ins. And then Santa Anita kicks in with 5 stakes races as well, and there will be 2 Breeders' Cup win and you're in races there as well. And then on Sunday, the final 2 of the 15 Breeders' Cup win and you're in races will be held. Belmont at Aqueduct and we'll have a stakes race. It won't be a Breeders' Cup win and you're in. The final 2 will be at Keeneland on Sunday. Okay, 3 stakes races at Keeneland on Sunday, 2 of them Breeders' Cup win and you're in. And by Sunday, all of the horses, all of the Breeders' Cup win and you're in races will be done. All the horses will either have their spot to either come in as a Breeders' Cup win and you're in race or whatever. And then it really starts cranking up, because then we start looking for the jockey assignments. We start looking for their final workouts, etc. And so it's getting to be an exciting time. And we already started on this very first day of October. But that's how it's going to shake out. Now, earlier in this week, tomorrow, Belmont at Aqueduct will have a Grade 3 stakes race. And today, Horseshoe Indianapolis will have 6 stakes races, 4 of which will be $100,000 races, 2 of which will be $150,000. So on this light day of racing, as far as the racing menu is concerned, the big stakes races today are at Horseshoe Indianapolis. It's going to be a big racing day there. And, of course, they closed out Churchill Downs on Sunday, and we're moving over to Keeneland, which will start on Friday. Let's take a look at some of the things that happened yesterday before we get to some of the news of the day. And I'm sorry, not yesterday, but on Sunday, which was our yesterday kind of, because that was the last show we had. But on Sunday at Santa Anita, Armando Ayuso won the early double. He won the first race for Leonard Powell at $5 even, won the second race for Dan Blacker at $10.80. Phil D'Amato had a couple of wins on Sunday at Santa Anita. He won the third race with Liscano, paying $3.40 as the favorite. Juan Hernandez won his first of 4 races on Sunday in the 4th race for John Sadler, paying $17.40. That horse went wire to wire at 6 furlongs on the turf. And then in the 6th race, Hernandez got his second win of the day at $7.40 for Peter Miller. Then came a couple of the stakes races, Breeders' Cup winning or in races, I might add. The Zenyatta Stakes for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up at a mile and 16th, a Breeders' Cup winning or in. Bob Baffert had this thing surrounded. Okay, his Cavalieri, who remains undefeated now, won the race. Juan Hernandez aboard, paying $3.40. Okay, that was the winner, undefeated, going into the Breeders' Cup. He had his second of 3 entries in the 5-horse field, finishing second. That was Richie. And his third entry in the 5-horse field finished third. So Bob Baffert completed the entire trifecta, finishing first, second, and third. That third-place finisher was Howen. So he's loaded for bear as far as the older fillies and mares are concerned off of the Zenyatta. Then the 9th race was the Santa Anita Sprint Championship, also a Breeders' Cup winning or in. In the race, the Breeders' Cup Sprint champion of last year, the defender of that race, Straight No Chaser, was the big favorite in the race. But in the end, Imagination wins this race. It is a Bob Baffert trainee, ridden by Juan Hernandez. So Baffert was getting his second win of the day, both in stakes races. Hernandez got his fourth win of the day. This horse paid $13.20, but it won as if it was the favorite that Straight No Chaser was. It won like a 1-5 shot. A very impressive win by Imagination in the Breeders' Cup, the Santa Anita Sprint Championship for the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Imagination. I'll tell you, man, this horse was geared down and won easily, passing Dr. Veckman and Straight No Chaser, who had the early lead and finished third in the race. And then Phil D'Amato's second win of the day came in the last race with Umberto Rispoli paying $7.80. So the pick six was at $3,340. Want to remind everybody out there that John Lindo's Lindo Report had the late pick four on his sheet. We're always talking about he also gives you a late pick four on his sheet. It was a $20 layout, and the late pick four, as designated on John's sheet, paid $189.80. So congratulations to John there. Closing day at Churchill Downs. Ired Ortiz Jr. won the early double. He won the first race for David Jacobson at $4 and change. He won the second race for Dallas Stewart at $9 and change. And then in the fourth race, trainer Brian Lynch got his first win at $11 and change for Nick Juarez was aboard. Ired came and got his third win of the day in the first five races. In the fifth race for Joe Sharp, paying $5 and change. I'm not going to go into the pennies there. In the seventh race, Brian Lynch got his second win of the day, again with Nick Juarez aboard. So Nick Juarez and Brian Lynch teamed up together to win two races at Churchill on closing day, paying $7.90. And then Ired Ortiz Jr. capped off a four-bagger with his fourth win of the day in the ninth race for Mark Casse, paying $6.30. The mandatory pick six payoff at Churchill Downs on Sunday paid $3,913.08 there. Belmont at Aqueduct, Ricardo Santana won the first and last races. He won the first race for Carlos Martin at $12.64. Came back in the ninth race for Bruce Levine and paid $20.80. Carlos Martin had a couple of wins. That trainer came back in the fourth race with Javier Castellano paying $19 and change. Castellano came right back in the fifth race for his second win of the day for Mark Hennig, paying $17.50. And all in all, you have a carryover in the pick six when Belmont at Aqueduct resumes racing this week. They did not have six in the pick six. The fives paid $1,792.33. By the way, the two pick fives at Belmont at Aqueduct, big prices. Early pick five paid $8,200 plus. And the late pick five paid $13,236 and change that Sunday at Aqueduct. Remington Park had a big racing day on Sunday, a whole bunch of stakes races. Luis Saez won the first two stakes races of the day, one for Mike Maker at $6 even, and the other for Joe Harper at $9 even. Jose Ortiz won for Mike Maker's second stakes win of the day in the David M. Vance with Surveillance, paying $4.40. In the Clever Trevor Stakes, Danny Pesh and Iram Vargas Diego get together with Essential Time winning that one. The Clever Trevor upset paid $26.20. And in the Great Western Turf Sprint, winner there was Rene Diaz at $28.60 for J.R. Caldwell with Jackman's Ride, who won that race. And in the two big races at Remington Park on Sunday, the Remington Park Oaks was won by So There She Was, a Southern California shipper for Doug O'Neill. So There She Was, with Ramon Vasquez won, paying $9 even, outrunning the big favorite in that race, Lemon Zest, who finished second, and Serafia, who was third. And in the big $400,000 Grade 3 Oklahoma Derby, Bracket Buster wins Luis Saez's third win of the day for Vicky Oliver, paying $2.80 as the huge favorite in that race. Iron Dome was second. Mr. Omaha was third. The 50-cent all-stakes pick five, by the way, at Remington, even with that favorite winning that race, paid $1,947.70. Finally, at Delaware Park, 3 stakes races. The Wilmington was won by Silver Slugger. Sonny Leone aboard for Juan Carlos Avila, paying $6 even. The Delaware Handicap, the big Delaware Handicap, was won by Regaled. Joseph Ramos aboard for D. Whitworth Beckman, paying $8.40, outrunning Runaway Diva and Dazzling Move. And in the Battery Park Stakes, the winner there was Cook Creek for Jamie Rodriguez, and that horse paid $15.20, trained by Mike Maker. All right, that's what happened to the races on Sunday. But taking a look at some of the news for the day, talking about, and I'll get into this with Jonathan Nardone, but talking about Bob Baffert, what a weekend this guy had. Now, you know he's loaded for the 2-year-olds. So we expect Bob Baffert to really have a big day on the first of the 2-day Breeders' Cup with all the 2-year-olds that he has in those races. We've been watching these 2-year-olds just annihilate fields all summer long and into the fall in Southern California, okay? We know he's got that. And as a matter of fact, as far as that's concerned, and one of the Breeders' Cup winning your in races coming up this weekend, the American Pharoah for 2-year-olds, Baffert has 4 of the 6 entered in that race. So we know he's got that covered. But this weekend gave him horses that will be very competitive on the Saturday card, with Cavallari and Ritchie running in the Zenyatta first and second. Cavallari, of course, still undefeated. Don't forget about Nevada Beach, who just won the stakes race for the handicap races the other day. I think it was the Goodwood. Nevada Beach has come to his own now, this 3-year-old. And Imagination, as I said, you got to see the replay of that the Breeders' Cup win and you're in for the sprint, the Santa Anita Sprint Championship. Imagination was scarily easily winning that race. So Bob Baffert's going to be loaded for the Breeders' Cup, and it's at Del Mar. All right, the jockeys and the Jockeys Guild are now taking a stand against the suspension of Paco Lopez. Both Tyler Gaffleone and Mike Smith put out videos that I saw on X with all the jockeys behind them in the jocks room, defending Paco Lopez and saying it was very unfair about that. And the Jocks Guild is going to go forward and try to make a plea to HISA about that, or maybe even a lawsuit, who knows. And also, Mike Smith is going to have a meeting with the jocks over the crop rules overall. Now, you know, Lopez got nailed for the crop rule. Well, Mike Smith is going to have a meeting with all the jockeys he can, both video, etc., about this crop rule to take their complaints about the crop rule to HISA. So there's a little bit of a backlash going on as far as the Paco Lopez doing now with the uniting all of the jockeys in the Jocks Guild. We'll wait and see about that. Also, another thing that's happening at the racetracks, you know that in Florida they're trying to decouple the casino betting from the horse racing, and it's getting pretty ugly in Florida right now. And trainer Nick Vaccarazzo has been denied stalls at Gulfstream Park for this upcoming winter meeting because his father, Carlos, has been opposing vocally about the decoupling. So now that gets into that. Now that, you know, that's getting into an awful situation there. But on the good news, on the other side here, Churchill Downs, their just completed meet there. Their handle was up 12% during their meeting. They did $84.110 million in the handle there in their short autumn meeting. And the handle per race was up 12.8%. So you give them good fields and competitive fields, and we'll be out there playing it. That's what that says. By the way, Louisiana Downs, they just completed their meet, and they were up 16%. So it looks like it's good news as far as the racetracks that are putting on competitive fields, so people can bet competitive fields. That's what it's all about. Jockey Jose Lezcano, who's been sidelined since a spill on the 29th of August with a collarbone break, he's expected to be back riding on Friday. I would imagine in New York for that. And we have, there's going to be strong Breeders' Cup races. I believe the 2-year-olds and the Breeders' Cup Classic especially are going to be maybe vintage races this year as far as the Breeders' Cup is concerned. And Forever Young is going to add to the Breeders' Cup Classic a horse that's 8 for 11. You remember his second place finish in the Kentucky Derby when he was the 3-year-old a couple of years ago. Well, he's back in action. He preps in Japan today for a return to the Breeders' Cup at Del Mar. So we'll wait and see about that. All good stuff, just all good news. And now we can get started with our race day show for today. We have Jonathan Hardoon with us. Of course, if it's Wednesday, it means Dwayne Colucci will be with us representing the Rampart, talking about what he's going to do there. And of course, Rich Ang, John Lindo, and Jerry J as well. So we're just getting started on this Wednesday show. I know it's not a big day as far as the racing out there, but it's a big day as far as racing news, etc. And we will be back. We'll have some picks for you as well, but we'll be back right after this. Don't go away.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas, a couple of quick things. It was reported that Johannes, who won the stakes race at the mile stakes race on the turf over the weekend at Santa Anita, bled in the race. Okay, he bled in the race, and now, of course, he's under the provisions of a bleeder in the race. So we'll wait and see about that. And Umberto Rispoli has a decision to be making about that particular Breeders' Cup mile on the turf, because he's also riding a Formidable Man. So both of these horses are going to be pretty much favorites in that race. But now I'll ask John Lindo about that. It was reported that he bled some in that race. Not a lot, just bled some in that race. So taking a look at this week's Breeders' Cup Classic rankings, when we're talking about the Breeders' Cup. Here's the top 10 rankings for this week. Number 10 is Highland Falls. The 9 is Locked after his big win over the weekend. Locked is now pushed into the top 10. He's 9th. Antiquarian is 8th. Baeza is 7th. Forever Young, that goes today in Japan, or maybe already has gone today in Japan, and his comeback. He's rated 6. Journalism is 5. Mindframe is 4. Sierra Leone is 3. Fierceness is 2. And I know you're going to guess who's the first horse. Obviously, Sovereignty. So that's the top 10 rankings as far as that's concerned. As far as the weather now, here in Las Vegas, it's a beautiful day. It's 68 degrees right now outside, but we're going to get up to 91. It's just one, we're in that pocket of just gorgeous weather here in Las Vegas. And as far as the around the nation is concerned, you got temperatures, Miami with a chance of rain down there with all those hurricanes that are making their way close to the shore on the East Coast and running up the East Coast. They're not going to make landfall, but they're going to get close before they turn out back to the Atlantic. So that's the type of weather. You got 2 of them working out there. It's going to be probably a good part of the week in handling the weather on the East Coast. Anyhow, Miami's 87 today. No racing, of course, at Gulfstream. New York, 71. No racing there today. Chicago, 76 and partly cloudy. As far as the other places, Southern California, 80 degrees. Here in Las Vegas, we're going to get up to 91, as I said. And in Phoenix, Arizona, hot spot there at 97 degrees. But as far as any of the precipitation around the country, it looks pretty good in the racing centers right now. So we'll wait and see about that. And now we'll get started with our racing menu for today. And of course, as I say, first post times are Pacific. If you're here in Las Vegas, going to the book here at the South Point, no problem. We're in the Pacific time zone. If you're not, adjust to it so you don't miss anything, okay? We begin with Belterra Park. Belterra Park has a first post time of 9:35 at Belterra. Second comes Parks Racing. Parks Racing's first post time is at 9:40. Their Pick 5 jackpot carryover, $94,828. That's at Parks Racing. Then we have Delaware Park. First post time, 9:45 at Delaware Park. And then next after that will come, there it is. Delaware Park is at, what do I say? Delaware Park is at 10 a.m., I guess. No, that's Finger Lakes. I'm sorry. I shouldn't mark these things with my pen. It goes right over it. Delaware Park is 9:45. Finger Lakes is at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Finger Lakes. Then we go to Horseshoe, Indianapolis, where all the big stakes races are at today. That first post time is 11:10 for the big stakes race card there at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. Following that comes Presque Isle Downs. Presque Isle Downs, first post time is 12:30. And then we'll wrap it up with Charlestown. Charlestown's first post time is at 4 p.m. Kind of an abbreviated menu, but the big racing today seems to be at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. Let me bring in Jonathan Hardoon. Jonathan, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How are you?
I'm doing fine, man. It's getting kind of interesting that the Breeders' Cup now. Bob Baffert, I mean, we know it was loaded with the 2-year-olds, but man, over the weekend, he put some other ones out there that are going to be formidable runners in the other divisions on Saturday.
He's got to have like 10 to 12 starters at least in the Breeders' Cup. I'm curious to see. I'm going to go back and check it out. But he seems to have a horse in every race for the most part. And his 2-year-olds, they don't beat much, but they're certainly impressive when they win. Most of the fields are short. Let's see how he does against the East Coast shippers, especially the Tom Amos horse who's going to run Saturday, I think in the Champagne at Belmont at Aqueduct. The horse that was super impressive first time out when he won by 17 lengths. Not Your Time or whatever his name is.
What I will say, though, is the fact that since the Breeders' Cup is in Del Mar in Southern California, where all these horses have been training and running, it gives him a small advantage there as well. But you're right. There's a couple of nice 2-year-olds coming out of the East Coast that's going to give them all they can handle.
Yeah, you also have Nick Sco. There are a couple of really good ones that ran at Saratoga. Let's see how they're going to do at Del Mar. But you're right. Listen, he has an advantage. He is just loaded. And if something goes wrong, he just goes to the bench and brings in another player. He's got like a dream team there. It's unbelievable.
And remember, did he not bring Barnes out to the Saratoga to run against those 2-year-olds there? Was that the name of the horse, Barnes? Trying to think. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I know Barnes ran out here, but he may have brought another one out. Maybe it was Barnes. You're right. And
it was a 2-year-old that ran in the race.
Rick Shank pointed it out. He used it as a barometer to see, how good this horse is.
Exactly. Because he knows how this horse measures up to his 2-year-olds. Now he brought him out there to measure up to those 2-year-olds to find out how they're going to be measuring up to his best 2-year-olds. So I think it was a smart maneuver. Of course, Bob Baffert doesn't do too many things that aren't smart and right for racing. So we'll wait and see about that. Looks like there's a groundswell going on to support Paco Lopez and his suspension as far as the jocks are concerned.
Yeah, and I think rightfully so. I think the punishment. Listen, they claim that he did all these other violations between his last suspension and this suspension. Well, fine. So why didn't they suspend him then? they wait to build them all up and then hit the guy with 6 months. It just seems like, it really is an overreach. And what I really didn't like is that he wanted to appeal and they wouldn't even let him appeal.
Well,
That's wrong.
Well, now, Jonathan, I believe that some of those some of those infractions he served suspensions for individually.
Right. So now they're saying it's like when you get too many tickets after a while, well, you lose your license, your driver's license, for example, if you get more than an X amount of points.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they've been adding up his points, and I think the riders are more concerned for themselves, to be honest with you. There have been 2,800 suspensions or fines from since the beginning. 2,700 of them are whip violations, and 100 of them are other racing, whether it be drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
But you can't have 2,700 out of the 2,800. That's what they're in business for, just to go after jockeys.
Well, here's the thing: when you have
not only that, where did they come up with 6 whips or 7 whips, whatever it is? There's no jockeys on that board or that make those decisions for the most part. They just came up with a random number. What makes that the right number?
Well, that is one thing that they should. Where did they get the information to come up with that number? That's the benchmark.
You had the best idea, Ralph. Ralph Siraco, came up with the best idea. Examine the horse after the race, see if there are any welts or any marks on the horse.
Then suspend him.
Of a suspension, and then serve down the suspension.
Yep.
Just random 6 whips or 7 whips. There's got to be a better way.
Look, they can count the whipping in the race like they do now, okay? And let's say they went 2 whips over, okay? So then they call down and they say, listen, I want that horse examined. Every horse that gets over 6 whips, you can have them examined.
Guess what? Examine every horse in the race. Who cares?
Yeah.
Examine every single horse.
Yeah.
Even if they had 1 whip, just examine every horse. If they think something went wrong, then fine. Suspend the. Right.
Yeah. Well, I know that if you have 2,800 violations and 2,700 are for whip violations, there's something wrong there. That ought to tell you that they have to revisit that. I mean, they really do. And maybe this will be the flashpoint.
There may be a blessing in this whole thing.
Right.
That maybe now they'll resolve the whole whip issue, and they can call it the Paco rule or whatever they want to call it.
Right.
But
it'll be certainly it might be the flashpoint to get something done. All right. I know you don't have any picks today, and you just did your soapbox, so I guess I can let you go now.
See you Thursday. See you Friday, Ralph. I'm off tomorrow.
You are off tomorrow. Observe the holiday, and then we'll talk to you on Friday.
Thank you, Ralph. Stay safe and be well. And everybody celebrating the holiday, Happy New Year to all.
That's right. Yom Kippur. Okay, you got it, my man. Let's quickly go. I want to go to Dwayne Colucci now because Dwayne has been standing by. Dwayne, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. Do you think they ought to, revisit that whip law as well?
Yeah, definitely. Paco, we know how Paco is. He's a very aggressive rider, and they seem to be making him the poster boy for the incident at Parks, maybe where he cracked the horse there, punched him that time. And, Paco's a solid rider. I think he served suspensions, like you said, several times, sat out for a little while under his own recognizance. So I think he really tries. And, the same thing is happening in California with P-Val and Roberto Arroyo yesterday. They were
denied. Yeah.
Yeah, and these guys have been sitting for quite a while, and I just don't know the determinations that, HISA and the California Racing Board are making to factor that these guys don't deserve to ride, and especially Paco, who's an active rider. Now it's going to cost us Bookham Dano in the Breeders' Cup, and he's getting, garnering a ton of support from Tyler Gaffalione and Churchill and the MYRA riders. So, I think it's kind of strict, and I think it has to be revisited. These crops are not built the way they used to be, Ralph. They're very light. They really don't impede the horse's, his butt area where he's hit. So I don't know. I think it's kind of strict, and I think it was kind of severe.
Yeah, that's for sure. Dwayne, I want to remind everybody that you're going to be part of our Breeders' Cup special show on that Thursday before Breeders' Cup. At 3:00 here, you're going to be going over a Breeders' Cup race. I got to tell you, I'm a little bit excited about the Breeders' Cup this year. I think some of the fields are really coming together that could be vintage fields, that's for sure. And, of course, we've got 29 days to figure it out. But trying to figure out to make some money today, where are we going with a pick?
We're going to go to Horseshoe. It looks like a supercard, like you said, several $100,000 races. And we're going to go for a bomb in race 7. We're going to go with the 11-horse Midnight Caper, Robert Gorman. He's using Contreras again. The horse seems to be improving. I would throw out that turf race 2 back and just look at his races over the dirt surface at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. And they're all solid. I mean, he runs very consistent, second at times, has to overcome the pace. I think he can improve off that second place finish last time and get in the winner's circle at a price. So, yeah, Contreras definitely has a shot here. Midnight Caper, race 7, Horseshoe Indy.
All right. That's the Vegas lucky numbers. 7th race, the 11, 7-11, and at a good price, too. That's for sure, Dwayne. Thanks so much, and we'll be talking next week.
Yeah, thank you, Ralph. And Forever Young did win today, so
good.
Makes the Breeders' Cup Classic even tougher. Now you have the Japanese flavor.
Yep.
I like that horse a lot. I picked him, I believe, at one of our seminars last year. So, what a great Breeders' Cup! Can't wait. 29 days left.
Well, thanks a lot for giving us that information. So he's on his way to the Breeders' Cup as well, the Classic. Thanks a lot, Dwayne. As I say, we'll talk to you tomorrow. On Wednesday. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Ralph. Definitely. I appreciate you having me on.
All right, and we appreciate you being with us all the time, that's for sure. We're rolling along on the show, a quick break, and then we'll come back with Rich Eng.
Thank you, buddy.
There are many families that need your help. I'm Mark Wahlberg, and I'm asking you to support the Tunnel to Towers Foundation in their efforts to deliver mortgage-free homes to catastrophically injured service members, Gold Star, and fallen first responders families with young children, as well as eradicating homelessness amongst our veterans.
Everybody knows where the money's going, every single dollar. God bless you.
Please contribute $11 a month to support their efforts by visiting t2t.org.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is smoke and fire. This is high stakes and wild cards. This is family and tradition. This is everything on the line. This is it. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas. The South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now. LVMS.com.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas. A big month here at the South Point. Don't forget that South Point NASCAR race at South Point 400 that happens on the 10th through the 12th that weekend here in Las Vegas. If you've never seen that event, you've really got to come out and see it. It's something else. Really, it is. It's epic, so to speak. Let's get out to Rich Eng standing by. Richie, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ralphie. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, listeners.
Now, Richie, Keeneland opens on Friday, and we know that I believe you're going to do a Keeneland sheet for the entire Keeneland card as well as Santa Anita, right?
Yeah, it's been almost 10 years now. I do a Keeneland sheet, do a Kentucky Downs sheet, as well as Southern California. So this is one of those months I'll be doing 2 sheets a day, Keeneland and Santa Anita.
Well, we know that Keeneland's got this first weekend loaded up with all those horses looking for a spot in the Breeders' Cup. So that's going to be exciting, that's for sure. And, of course, we have football going on, college on Saturday, the pros on Sunday, and, of course, a pro game tomorrow that we'll be tapping you on the shoulder on. But for today, we need a pick at horse racing.
Okay, I'll give a pick, and here's a tease for tomorrow's show, Ralph. I will have details about how the listeners and the viewers can get a Breeders' Cup Advance edition, which will be coming out, about 10 days, 2 weeks before the Breeders' Cup. But I'll have the exact details on the Breeders' Cup Advance on tomorrow's show.
Fantastic.
Okay, race number 4. It's one of those Indiana-bred stakes at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. Let's go with the number 5 horse, Sir Bahi, 7-2 in the morning line. This is a wide open race, so I certainly hope to hold price. Martin Pedrosa riding. This horse will be rallying late in the stretch. Number 5, Sir Bahi in the 4th.
All right, 4th race today at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. Number 5, the 5 in the 4th race. So we got 2 nice picks there at Horseshoe, Indianapolis today. And, of course, Richie, with that tease, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Al. Good luck, everybody.
All right, you got it. Another quick break, and then we'll wrap it up with John Lindo and Jerry Jackowitz. Don't go away.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world.
Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Join Jeff Parles and Alex White.
One of my favorite plays here is getting 2 touchdowns with Florida State.
Even though the total's been batted down a little bit, I still think it's okay to go under.
Chris Andrews and Vinny Magliulo.
I don't think this is a great Kansas City team. I think the Chargers win this game.
All right.
If you see a hook here, it's not going to last long.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Are we sure either of these quarterbacks are good?
Hell no, we're not sure.
Bet your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming live on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
The Race Day Las Vegas Show, the only exclusive daily local media racing information source in Las Vegas.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas. Time to go out to Southern California where Mr. John Lindo's at. John, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, my man. You getting ready for the pack bags and be up here for the Breeders' Cup weekend with all these specials we have going?
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to probably try and sneak out next weekend for that 3-day weekend. So I'll do a little schooling. We'll get the lay of the land there.
And John, I heard reports that Johannes bled a little in the race over the weekend.
I did not hear anything on that. He did what he had to do. He won that, and he wasn't overly extended to get the job done. And if he did, they've got time, obviously, before the Breeders' Cup. So if it had been a serious concern, I'm sure I would have heard more. So,
yeah, no, they said it was just a little bit of blood coming off of his nostril. It wasn't anything big.
Right. So, again, it's something that Tim Yock team will deal with. Obviously, no Lasix and stakes races, so you have to be aware of those things.
And, of course, with that, if that did happen, and like I said, I heard a report on that he'll go under the HISA rules, which means like it's 2 weeks or something before he can start training again, something like that.
Yeah, the protocols will all kick in. So many days before you can do a workout. It doesn't mean you can't jog at the racetrack. He's going to get a week off anyways in between just to recover from the race. And, they'll work backwards from the Breeders' Cup mile and set up his work schedule.
I got to tell you, that win by imagination in the sprint was really something else.
Well, the race set up for him, first of all, and he had trained really, really well going into the race, and he also got the right post. He's a horse that's kind of erratic when he runs. He'll duck in, he'll duck out, and you saw him in the lane, Ralph. He was trying to lug in and lay on those horses, but because he had that outside post, he was in the clear and able to do it. And the reason he won under wraps, I think if the jock had let him really run, he might have ducked to the inside fence. So it was kind of keeping him straight, but he has a ton of ability, obviously. And, maybe they found what he wants to do, be a late running sprinter.
Well, in any case, I'm sure that Baffert has a chance to work with him to try to get him off of that lugging in, because that could be a problem. But nevertheless, it looked visually, it looked really impressive. We'll wait and see how that race turns out. And then, of course, he's got Nevada Beach for the handicap division. I mean, this guy's loaded this year.
Well, he's been, he's got a good group of horses. And, maybe a little different take this year as opposed to running them hard all year.
Yeah.
A lot of these horses kind of has part of the summer off, and they're kind of gearing up into the Breeders' Cup. So kind of a little different MO, but, he finds a way to get there. And you had talked about his 2-year-olds. he's got 4 of the 6 in the American Pharoah, and he shipped litmus test to Keeneland. He's going to run in that Breeders' Fraternity on Saturday just to try and split up one of those horses, and get him out of the herd.
Not to mention get a barometer on the horses back there as well.
Absolutely, and he's a horse that should love 2 turns.
And so we're going to have a busy week this week as far as Breeders' Cup races, etc. John, I know that, of course, you do Southern California Linder Report. What are you doing for Keeneland?
I'm going to do the full cards this weekend at Keeneland. A lot of races, but a lot of Breeders' Cup implications.
Yeah.
And opening weekend at Keeneland is always fun. The weather's going to be good. They're looking at mid-80s all weekend, no rain forecast, so don't have to deal with the weather as a factor. So we'll do the full cards at Keeneland and Santa Anita Friday, Saturday, Sunday. One other note for Bob Baffert too, Ralph. If you're looking at futures, I don't know if people have it available out there, but Nisos is pointing to the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. He worked 5 furlongs on Monday. That's his second work after missing the Pacific Classic. Too late to get him into the Classic as far as getting the distance, but the Dirt Mile is the goal right now for Nisos.
Yes, and he's off the boards here in Las Vegas as far as the bookmakers that are bookmaking him. I think it's Westgate and Caesars sports books that they have him off of the Classic Future book there. All right, John, I know that you don't have a pick for us today, but you'll be busy. And by the way, very thank you from all the folks that picked up the Linder Report on Sunday, getting that late pick for a $20 bet and making a substantial profit in the late pick 4 on your sheet on Sunday. And we will wait for you to get started again this week, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, got a lot of handicapping to do. There's going to be some big cards out throughout the weekend.
Oh, yeah, I know. We're excited about it too, John. Thanks a lot, my man.
All right, good luck today.
All right, now we go out to Jerry Jackowitz, and Jerry, he just does Southern California and New York, but even Jerry's got to be a little excited about all these Breeders' Cup implicated races over the weekend. Jerry, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. Well, I'm excited in the sense I do enjoy handicapping high quality horses as much as I enjoy handicapping, claimers and platters. But so it keeps it interesting. But they're all horses to me, and they're all betting opportunities, and I sort of treat them the same. I don't, but you were talking about the Breeders' Cup, and the horse that's most interesting to me is Fierceness, who
you've been a Fierceness fan all his life. That's right. Go.
Yeah, but he's been a real problem to understand because he throws in these like strangely bad races, and they're really hard to understand where they come from or why they occur. His Kentucky Derby race, I think, was terrible, and then we saw his race at Saratoga, where it looked like he was going to run a really nice race, and he got to the 3/16 pole and he just totally stopped running. And for a really good horse to, with the lead, to do that, it's annoying. It's annoying to a handicapper.
Well, not only that, but Jerry, the thing about it, I think that puts another twist on this is his last race that he won at Del Mar was a race that took him out of his normal racing, MO, and he won big there. So how do you, wow.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's so true, Ralph, because he's raced well from near and off the lead. He doesn't have to be in front. And I mean, if you remember when he won the Breeders' Cup as a 2-year-old at Santa Anita, he was off the lead. He rallied on the far turn. I mean, he was close up. He's a fast horse. He wasn't like way back.
Right.
And that might actually be the clue to him. It seems to me that when he hits the West Coast, he runs well every single time.
Yeah.
But back on the East Coast, I wonder if he has allergies or something like that, that it's hard to detect maybe. And I'm very into allergies. I've got some allergies, it turns out, and they're hard to detect. So I wonder if that has a little to do with his form cycles being hard to read because of these bad races. Good horses tend to race well in a consistent pattern, and they improve from good race to excellent race, and then maybe when they hit that really excellent race, they can back off in their form. And they very seldom don't run at all, or stop running in the middle of a race.
Right.
So he's a little bit of a tricky horse, and maybe the way he runs bad is a sign that he's not really in bad shape, that he still could be improving.
Or maybe he likes that sea air down there at Del Mar. Who knows?
No, his 2 races at Del Mar are sensational. I mean, even though he ran second to to Sierra Leone, it was absolutely sensational race.
Well, we will continue with our conversations with you and take a look at all the angles to the Breeders' Cup as the days go by. But in the meantime, you know what time it is, Jerry. You only have one more thing to say.
Have a great race day, everybody.